Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Rothman. I am John Rothman. If you are a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going. As I like to point out each and every day, it expands our base. 1 week ago today, Donald Trump took the oath of office as President of the United States. And it has been a week that, has left its lasting mark on history. Let's try to summarize the things that really stand out. By the way, they all stand out, but in the time that I have, it's got to be brief. First, let's talk about roundups. That's right. Let's talk about the fact that Donald Trump is fulfilling his promise to round up illegal immigrants, and as we are now learning, is capturing people who are not illegal in the process. This reminds me of the Palmer raids of 1919, when A. Mitchell Palmer, the Attorney General of the United States, ordered the rounding up of Reds. Well, it turned out that they didn't just round up Reds. They rounded up all sorts of people. People who had come from Eastern Europe, people who looked suspicious, people who just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The Supreme Court stepped in and stopped the Palmer raids, and A. Mitchell Palmer's boom to be president of the United States ended with that. But nonetheless, what we are witnessing now with these roundups in community after community across the United States, and in particular, we are told in Chicago, should cause alarm for every American. I don't know anybody in the United States of America who is in favor of keeping rapists or murderers in the United States if we know that they are truly guilty. But look what happened. Donald Trump sent a plane filled with illegal immigrants who, by the way, were in shackles and handcuffs to Colombia. The Colombians at first refused to accept the shipment, and I'm calling it a shipment to make it sound like what it is, a brutal shipment. Well, let's put it this way. Colombia caved because Donald Trump said he would impose a 25% tariff. And we are told early this morning, that Colombia is backing out on this commitment not to take these people into Colombia. Well, this is just the beginning. This is going to happen across the world. There is a real concern that Donald Trump means what he says. Now, for those who support Donald Trump, they're delighted. They say this is exactly what we want. And you will note that Donald Trump is now threatening Republicans who don't go along with him with retribution, with retaliation, something we were told was simply campaign rhetoric. Turns out it's not campaign rhetoric. The other big issue, the firing of inspector generals. How many? Couldn't tell you. 12, 15, who knows? But the point is that there was supposed to be 30 days notice to Congress. The President of the United States made the decision to unilaterally fire them. There was no notice. Will there be any implication, any ramification? The odds are that there will not be. This is an administration driven by unilateral executive action. We talked about this before the election. We talked about the plot that was being hatched by the 2025 project to really seize the levers of power. Well, they've done it. Let's talk about birthright citizenship for a moment, and we'll talk more about this in the days ahead. Huge impact on the immigration question. Huge impact on Americans of every stripe and dimension. Yes, that's right. Birthright citizenship is being challenged. What is amazing is that the Constitution's words are clear. If you're born here, you're a citizen. If the members of the United States Supreme Court are really literalists, if they believe that the words matter, there is no question about how this will be decided. In fact, a Ronald Reagan nominated and confirmed judge called this a blatantly unconstitutional action. Do you understand? We are in the midst of a fascinating moment in history. And the question is, will the Republican Party stand up? Pardons. We come back to pardons. The January 6th pardons. So I spent the weekend rereading the January 6th report. It is in-depth, knowledgeable, brilliant, comes to conclusions that I think are irrefutable. And yet, The Republicans are going after the whole question of January 6th in a way which, I must tell you, should disturb us all. They're talking about investigating the committee members. That's why Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, among others, had to accept a presidential pardon from Joe Biden, because it wasn't persecution. It was more than persecution. It's revenge, something that Donald Trump said he was going to do, and his supporters said that once he became president, he wouldn't do it. And then there's the international implications of all of this. Let me be clear. You know that this weekend Donald Trump suggested that the citizens of Gaza who were displaced in the war should be rehoused in Jordan and in Egypt. And as you know, the Jordanians and the Egyptians absolutely said, no way, not a chance, for snowball in hell, because those Palestinians coming into those countries would destabilize Jordan and Egypt, two essential partners of the United States, and by the way, two nations that have peace treaties with Israel. What to do about Gaza? What to do about rebuilding? It's a very hard question. But I must tell you something. The idea of moving Palestinian Arabs out of Gaza, well, that raises all kinds of implications, including for Saudi Arabia. No way can Saudi Arabia accept this. I mean, I could go on and on this morning describing the various issues which we face. They are powerful, compelling issues, and they are issues we are going to be grappling with without any question. Oh, yes, I do want to throw in the fact that Donald Trump has withdrawn the security forces, Secret Service, from former Secretary of State Pompeo and former National Security Advisor Bolton. The Iranians are threatening the lives of these two individuals who served faithfully and loyally in the first Trump administration. This is vindictive, horrific decision which should be reversed. And by the way, there are members of Congress, including Tom Cotton, Senator Cotton, with whom I don't agree on very much, who have said this was a very bad decision. We have a serious problem in this country. It is now the President of the United States who is making decisions. And those decisions are colored by his political feelings which frankly should concern us all. I do not raise these issues lightly, and I hate to raise them so quickly. If we had the appropriate forum, if we had talk radio in San Francisco, we would be talking about this, each item, in great depth. And let me explain to you that I believe that these questions are real. JV Vance, by the way, gave his first in-depth interview yesterday on Face the Nation. If you haven't heard it, listen to it. Because Vance may well be America's next president. We need to be thinking about what JD Vance is talking about and saying. Oh, one other quick point. Elon Musk. Elon Musk went to Germany by video, by Zoom, and supported the far-right AfD. And let me tell you, today is the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. And what did Elon Musk, the president's best friend now, what did he say? We need to put our history behind us. We cannot worry about the actions of parents and grandparents and great-grandparents. Listen, I have to tell you, I am appalled, shocked, horrified by what I am hearing. And this is what we are going to get every single week. You and I know it. Every single week, every single day, there will be a new shock to the system. And the problem is there are so many shocks to the system. How do you cover them all? How do you do it properly? How do you raise your voice in a way which can be heard? I raise these questions with you because I feel a certain sense of inadequacy sitting here talking about these things that concern me greatly, things that should concern us all greatly. And yet, we will do our best to highlight these issues. Too briefly, one more thing. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is up for his hearing today to be Secretary of Health and Human Services. This is something which should be explored and debated and discussed. Well, will there be time? Is there too much flying at us? I'm going to do our very best right here on Around the Political World with John Rothman, to have nothing more than this, to raise these issues with you. I hope you appreciate the fact that the inadequacy of what we are doing should be clear, and yet the importance of what we are doing, well, I think it's vital. Thanks for tuning into another episode of Around the Political World with John Rothman. Make sure to follow along and let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and sharing an episode with a friend or a colleague so we can continue to grow and expand. That, of course, is our goal. We want your feedback. So whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn or emailing me, and many of you call me directly, I'm happy to hear what you have to say. And all I can say is we're going to keep pounding it out. Special appreciation to Go-Go Zoger. I am John Rothman. I'll be back tomorrow, right here on Around the Political World with John Rothman. See you then.